What up, y'all? It's the Mixtape King, Ron G. No Ideas Original. You already know what it is. H-Dub in the building. Salute.
No Ideas Original.
Yes.
Bonus episode. We calling this episode The Genesis.
The Genesis.
And the reason why we calling this episode The Genesis is because when Rob and I sat down and decided to do this podcast, this was pretty much the catalyst, what we've experienced this week. Mm-hmm. This is pretty much the catalyst for why we wanted to do something like this. So, first, I want to say thank you to all our viewers and listeners because, over the weeks we've gotten a lot of good feedback in terms of how the podcast is continuing to grow. And, there are going to be some people that probably tune in for the other episode that we're doing this week. We're doing the Straight Bangers virtual album listening party. Yeah, so after you watch this, jump over, watch and listen to that. Or if you're watching, listen to that first. You make sure you come back and get this as well.
Get some No ID knowledge, man.
Yeah. This one is near and dear, So we're gonna talk about a couple of things on this episode, right? So we're gonna talk about first of all, we know everybody's been watching the Versus, tuned in, and we're gonna talk about how OKPlayer.com put out an article saying that Instagram and social media sites are looking to cut the amount of time that music is actually played. Then we're going to talk about your president, and I made sure I say your president, Donald Trump versus Twitter. And then we're going to talk about Amy Karen Cooper from Central Park.
Your Karen's out there, son.
And then we got George Floyd, George Floyd.
Our brother George Floyd, man. I mean, we're talking about you're talking about a pandemic. The black man, they trying to extinct us, definitely. Man, and that's been on the table for a long time, man. That has never ceased.
Definitely.
And it's funny, it's always involving the police, man. So we'll get into that. We'll probably have some people come in and give us some of their points of views about it too, man. Yeah. So
no doubt, we get the feedback, good and negative feedback as it relates to the podcast, and we encourage people to keep sharing because that's the only way the podcast is going to continue to grow. So as a result of that, one of the things that we're doing, because we're starting to take off and we're getting legs and everybody has something that they want to contribute to the podcast. So for this particular episode, we're introducing a new segment called Talk Your Talk, where, like Rob was saying, we're going to allow people to actually call in and talk about whatever it is that's on their mind.
Spit it how you live it, baby.
Yep, that's what's going to be. So you know what? Let's jump right into the first topic. I know you had an opportunity to see the last two verses. To me, were very polarizing. The Beanie versus Bounty Killer to me was like that shit was the epitome of verses. Like that was
a summer jam right there. That right there. I posted. I was like Act 3 on IG. Listen, yo, son.
Mingles.
Yeah, Mingles. Stardust. Keeping it real. Nah, it was dope, man. And where these verses are going, probably kind of leading to why, IG don't want people on there, but 90 seconds a song, something to that nature or whatever.
90 seconds.
That's all you got on there, man. Because for one, what music is doing to people, man. They don't want that type of energy or IG to be responsible for unity that way, son. That's why Swiss Quarter and Tim Quarter like, what? We got over... And I remember him saying it in terms of stadiums. That's why I always use that. Mm-hmm. You know how many stadiums that is? Yeah. When you picture that and we're playing that and we're just at home, a place where you would want to have that type of energy. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Come on. It's a great thing. So now other people are monetizing from it too. And I guess that's what it is.
That's what it is.
You got your streams are going
That's
up.
what it is.
And your streams are going up. And trust me, in this game of streaming, one stream, what does it accumulate to get one stream? Well, I figured, I did some of the analytics about it. About 118,000 streams. If you manage to get 118,000 streams, you've just reached minimum wage, pretty much. Every stream is just Tidal. Tidal has right? Tidal has it where they're the bigger
paid,
player.
yeah.
I think it's a penny a stream. So that's
crazy.
A penny, but you got to get about 118,000. Forget about millions. And I even looked. Some people got 400 million streams. Go to Drake. Drake, he's eating off of them streams. Yeah. But by that, it's allowing people to recheck for these artists, go back into their catalog. I gave it a name. I think I gave it a name, the catalog booster or something like that.
Because the catalog stimulus package.
Yeah, the stimulus package, son. You go in there and that's it, man. And you go back and you be like, yo, I ain't got that on my playlist.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you add it to your playlist.
That's where record labels, to me, are short-sighted, right? Like, I don't know if you guys remember, but way back when we first started talking about this, I was saying, like, I knew because I seen the potential to make a dollar on it. Yeah. And I seen D-Nice come up on it. Now, D-Nice, to me, has taken it to a place where he got his merch. He's doing there's advertisements associated with it. You gotta remember,
IG is open to every single body on the planet for free.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You signed up for free for images. Yeah. And that's why, my wife used to always say, why are you always on Instagram? You know what I'm saying? I'm like, you know what? Instagram for me it gives me a better quality of idea, mind you, because it's giving me an image. It's giving me an image to say, now, how do I fit in that image? Yeah. So I'm looking through the cars. I'm looking through all sorts of scenarios. I'm just picturing that's what pictures do to you. You're always looking for yourself in the picture.
Well, they know that. That's why it's an algorithm.
They know exactly what's going on. So now
that's why it's an algorithm.
So I'm getting all them luxury housing pictures and all that coming through. It's crazy.
Think about it this is to me where the record labels are short-sighted, right? Because if you had an artist or an album that was in the graveyard that people wasn't checking for anymore, right? And then they went and did verses, automatically all these other platforms create a playlist, which then takes people back to, I got to get that playlist. And then that reinvigorates the streams to get another source coming in. Now, what makes it challenging, I think, is because record labels, they don't want to only probably eat off the streams. They probably see all right, other people have figured out a way to monetize this even further, so we need to figure out how to monetize it even further. I call it catalog resurgence,
and that's exactly what it does. But not just in the music career, because now a lot of these artists have multiple things, and they're not just singing. They're selling clothes or merch, or even just got with acting. How many of them are actors now? 50 just wrote his book. You know what I mean? So it gives another platform for free. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Where everyone, you know what I'm saying, as long as you're putting out there, someone waking up in the morning, the first thing they do, go on Instagram, boom, they see something, they may have the intent to buy. They might say, you know what, and you have it all linked up right there in your big about this.
What do you think about Swizz and Timbaland said they haven't made a cent on Versus yet?
They haven't made a cent?
They haven't made a cent. You believe that?
I believe that.
I do too, for some reason. I'm like, I believe too. I believe because I believe it's very much a grassroots operation.
Knowing them, it's for something bigger. They want to see what generates, and now that it's working,
plant the seed.
Now that it's working, now let's make quality verses now.
Plant the seed. Which brings me to another point. Did you hear that they said that now, in order to be a participant in verses, you have to use the technology that they send you? So I started off by saying, to me, it was polarizing because Beanie and Bounty Killer was the epitome.
Hold on, so they made a package. They made something.
They put together a technology where you got to use a certain type of I think it's a rolling something that they ship to the people that's going to participate in verses. Wow. But Beanie.
To eliminate Killer, the Teddy Riley.
but they think about it. So I don't know if they put the Jagged Edge in 112. The Jagged Edge in 112, the sound quality.
I didn't. That was one. That might have been my least.
Yo, the sound.
There's a couple of songs I like of them guys, but I was right.
I couldn't with the sound quality. So there's some other ones being tossed out. Like I heard the possibility of TLC.
Shout out to
and
someone having
SWV.
technology that works with Instagram and your phone.
Because people realize, like, yo, this is the wave of the future. This is where it's going.
Yeah.
You know, it'd be
wise,
one that I
man.
think that would be dope. That I've always maintained that these are two people whose career is on the decline, but this would lead to a resurgence in them. Not resurgence like Drake resurgence, but make them relevant again and get them both decent money. If Lil' Kim and Foxy Brown did a versus, or if Lil' Kim and Foxy Brown, when all this shit cleared up, went on tour together and did like a Lil' Kim versus Foxy Brown tour, like smaller venues or whatever, they get a nice bag for that.
Nice
They get a nice bag for that, man.
Son, you know what I mean?
But that ego,
Cougars that are bringing. No disrespect to the lady.
yo, that
Listen,
that ego.
that right there, no man. And it's sad that we don't have, you know, we can't get a pairing of those two. Just the magnitude of that would be crazy, man.
Yeah,
for real.
Yeah. But you know, to me, I guess long story short, with this stuff with Instagram and verses, like I personally feel
People making money.
that and that anytime you could have a great idea. Once you monetize whatever your idea is, somebody else is gonna come along and figure out, okay, I see you making, or they think you making off of it, and try to figure out how do they capitalize off of it also.
But you gotta and look how ingenious things just, you know, we life stops for but a second, for life to figure it out all over again and just pick up where it left off in a different venue. Not everyone is in this creative zone of just pulling out, you know, I could do more than what I've already been doing.
Exactly.
And let me apply some certain things. I had a long time talking with my youngest today about, you know, taking the knowledge and applying it. Applying it is showing that you're getting the wisdom out of it. You know what I'm saying? You're starting to see what it is that you're learning. You know what I mean? So
no, application is definitely not easy for a lot of people.
Nah, son. Sometimes you gotta show it, you gotta feed it to them, or give them a picture. Here we go, IG of you know what I mean? I said, look, even if you want to sell lemonade, I got you, son. But don't just be stagnant, because it's like your book on the shelf. It's just sitting there. You're not applying it, man.
So you know what? Hopefully, I guess, to me, 1 minute and 30 seconds, I think, is enough anyway. Because if you're going to go through 20 songs, truth be told, some of them songs after the first verse, you don't want to hear anyway.
You got to do it just like how a DJ cut it. You usually play the first verse, maybe
that's what I said. Beanie and Bounty Killer.
You know what I'm saying? And keep it rolling. Yo, they was going in. Yo, I was like, I sat with a spliff. I was like, this niggas is crazy in there, yo.
The next day, I was listening to that playlist. I listened to that playlist in the car today, over and over again.
Yeah,
right. So, you heard about the shit with Trump and Twitter and what he got going on with Twitter?
He got to put himself in the mix of what's going on. But you know what's crazy? All of what's going on. Watch, just pay attention to where attention goes. There's no COVID, no news. All of a sudden, news is shift. This is how things shift, and they capture people that's just arbitrarily following what, you know what I'm saying? What's going on? Trump, listen, man, and he kind of threw a finger. What he said? Revoke 203 or something like that. What's that? One of them laws that says, well, if you don't like it, tough. Yo, son, this is Trump, man. You got to get in the news, yo.
Here's the irony of this, though, to me, right? So,
I think it's called Section 230. That's what it's called. Crazy.
Yo, the irony of it, though, right? So Trump is basically upset with Twitter because Twitter, after he made a comment as it relates to mail-in ballots, Twitter put at the bottom of his post that, you know, almost like a fact check type thing, saying that before you believe the information he presented, research and make sure that information is accurate. Because his position is that by people allowing...
Stop right there. I don't mean to cut you. I don't mean cut your wisdom, dog. I do not mean to cut your wisdom. Sometimes you got to find... You see, and this is how you got to become a listener. Because some things can come out the mouths. Even the evilest nigga give you some wisdom. Yo.
But his... You know
Stop research?
Yo, you have to research. You have to research. But here's the thing with Trump that's crazy to me. So his position is that the mail-in ballots are going to be rigged, and it's going to potentially jeopardize him getting reelected.
That's being shook. He's shook.
But now his position around this is that they are impeding his free speech. Trump has made his last 4 years have been based on discrediting the media. What is the he calls the media fake news, right? So what does the media in the United States represent? Whether we in agreement or not, it represents free speech, right?
Say what you want.
Free speech, say what you want. So he's essentially telling people that what he's saying, he should have the right to free speech, but other media outlets, they shouldn't have the right to free speech. He wants to disseminate and control the information that he has, and he wants it to go out however he wants it to go out. Like I heard a soundbite from him today on the radio that they were playing, and he made a good point. He was like, he was talking to somebody who was interviewing him, and they were saying something like, if you don't like Twitter, why don't you just get off of it? Just get off of Twitter. And he was like, well, the reason why I have Twitter is because it allows me to get to whatever amount of followers I have through all my social media accounts unfiltered. So he wants to be able to use his platform to dispel anything that comes out about him that he's not necessarily in agreement with, right? Forget how the media gets it. And to an extent, some of the shit that Trump says is accurate about how the media portrays it, right? Because if you turn on CNN and MSNBC, it's going to be from a liberal perspective. If you turn on Fox News, you're going to get the conservative perspective of how shit is going on. So you kind of got to find some way to meet in the middle to determine what is in fact accurate.
Absolutely.
But he wants to be able to control the narrative of everything that he says. So he is, in fact, he's signing an executive order. That's what he did. He signed an executive order where he wants social media companies to basically say that they don't have the right to censor what he deems to be free speech. So they asked Mark Zuckerberg about that, and you know what Mark Zuckerberg's position on it was?
What did he say?
He was like, well, I don't view Facebook the same way Twitter operates. Facebook, I feel, is just a platform that should be open for people to express their views.
Because that's what I asked you. What's on your damn mind?
So, but the crazy shit is, could you imagine like how much hate rhetoric is like literally probably spewed around? Did you see the and we'll talk more about that when we get to the George Floyd stuff, but did you see the wrestling coach who got fired, who posted a picture?
No.
He posted a picture of his knee on a dude's neck, talking about, I don't think that this would kill somebody, and they fired his ass for it.
Really, son?
Yeah, but this is the type of stuff. So Donald Trump's position around this is that he wants to have the ability to go direct to you, uncensored, and say whatever he wants, and he doesn't want anybody to contest it. To me, that's consistent with who he is.
That's crazy, B. Somebody would actually do that.
Yeah, the dude did it.
Wow, that's crazy.
Publicity, like Donald Trump is a dude who, to me, he hasn't demonstrated an ability to take any negative critique. Like he always has some sort of spin.
Typical Anglo-Saxon male who's he's predominant, or just his mindset is, I am in control, and I'm supposed to be in control. That whole arrogant about him, and he's living out his full potential. That's why I can see him. I'm like, I ain't fucking with him. In a way in the world, I agree with an individual. Like that's not even none of my morals or nothing like that. He's sick, man. And it's our fault for those who think that we did a good job of putting him in there. I don't give a fuck about business, none of that. Remember, it's imagery is really what people are programmed by. So when you put the stuff out there like that, he is the leader of whatever
the free world
what we're dealing with. He's setting the tone. You know what I'm saying? It was the same.
He set the tone in the ball real low now. Son,
it's ridiculous. Anybody, I feel, can go and run for office.
The integrity.
And if you have a strong enough following, you will win.
Yeah. Because it's
crazy.
What's also bugged though is that, think about it, like, for years people have had so much criticism and critique of Fidel Castro, right? Because they used to be like, Fidel Castro, you say the wrong shit about him, you execute it, and all this stuff or whatever. But essentially, Donald Trump is trying to run a dictatorship. Like, any type of critique or criticism, and it's Donald Trump bad.
He's living out his dream.
It should tell you, this is how bad it is. One of the dudes from Fox News commented on his handling of, I think, the hydrochlorine stuff, when he was like, I've been taking it. And they critiqued him. They was like, why would you be taking it? It hasn't been found safe for treatment of COVID-19 or this, that, or whatever. This dude went on a rant on social media and basically got on social media and was like, yo, you know, I gotta find another outlet to work with. Since the original founder of Fox passed away, Fox ain't been the same, and
Wow.
he went through this whole shit. But the crazy thing, like I read between the lines and I listened to what he said now,
Right,
and you know
right.
what I heard him saying that. What I basically heard him say was, I gotta find another network. Nigga, you the president. You the president. Every network.
He want
whether it's
everything to go his way, son.
I don't care if it's BET, VH1, I don't care if it's TV1. You the president. Every network is supposed to have access to you.
Trump know his words galvanize a wave.
This shit is a dog whistle.
He know he can say if he can get out what he wants to get out. That's a sway. That's a nice little wave of people that's gonna follow, and he'll get his way, son.
He's speaking on us. The reason why I say it's a dog whistle because he's speaking on a frequency that is for specific people. Specific
and
people.
He knows his audience.
Yeah.
He remember this guy. As much as we don't like him, smart.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? He's a businessman, shrewd as it may be, but he's been running his way that way for the last 40 some odd years. So I'm still baffled that he's in office.
Yeah.
How did that happen, man?
Like I said, like I can't believe though that he would feel that empowered to say that, you know what, like I'm gonna sign an executive order.
You remember, this is the same man, and you know, no pun intended, that says I grabbed pussy and became president.
Yeah.
We allowed that.
He said, you don't remember? He said, he had a comment years ago where it said something like, "Yeah, I could shoot somebody on Fifth Avenue and Broadway,
and walk away, and nothing happens to me because I'm Donald Trump."
Yeah.
Like,
so
the audacity. So he's gonna challenge anybody that has anything to say. Let's either agree with him or you're gonna be challenged.
Yeah. Well, that's why there's been such a turnover, like in his cabinet members, because once people say the wrong thing, either he ousts them or their morals and integrity like, kicking, and they like, I can't do this no more.
Done with this nut. He's a nut. Getting out of here, no more.
Speaking of nuts, you know who had a very interesting week in the news? Amy Cooper, the Karen from Central Park. Did you get a chance to check that out?
I did, man. And I watched so many different responses to it. But the sad thing is that's an ongoing white fragility, white woman. Just remember grandma always say, don't mess with that white woman. Nana used to see it because she had to have a history of seeing any man that got in trouble. Emmett Till. Yeah. Sarah Page from Black Wall Street. Yeah. Just the assumption of messing with a white woman gets you that, but the audacity to use it like it was the free safety card. Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm gonna use it. Watch this.
Yep. Yeah.
The fuck? And no, let me inflect my voice even more, so it sounds like you're strangling me now while you're strangling the dog. Yeah. You see, they when you're thinking like that. You don't even really see what you're doing, because how you have the dog in your hand and you don't know that the dog you're killing the dogs, huh?
The hate is embedded. Like when I saw that, the first thing that popped in my mind was Emmett Till. But I kind of went through chambers with that. You know why? Because when I look at it, like
that situation happened the year my mama was born, on my aunt's birthday, 1955, 14-year-old kid. Yeah. 14, my nigga, 14.
When I saw that video, when I looked at it, the first thing I thought is that I know a lot of white people that you talk to, and you talk to them about white privilege, and there are white people that acknowledge and be like, I know I have privilege because I'm a white person. Mm-hmm. There are other white people who don't acknowledge white privilege. Mm-hmm. But from seeing that video, that to me was a visual that made me very aware that white people do know that they have white privilege, and white people are inclined to weaponize their white privilege, right? Because
yes, sir. Every at any instance where they feeling like them being the opposition, they're not on the upper end of it. Let me use what I can get so I can always seem supreme. That's already embedded in them. That's why when sometimes you can have a conversation with one of them Caucasians, you tell them, yo, you're benefiting from what your forefathers have allowed you to even have an idea to have.
Of course.
You know what I'm saying? So but how can you see that? Look, me being a corporate America for 20 years, and I'm looking at senior leadership. It's one of us.
Mm-hmm.
All of these partners,
tokenism,
and I'm like, really, and I already know the mindset. So it's you crazy niggas that's running the world. And now I see why companies fold, because they're just companies that's just because of leadership and the things that people do behind closed doors, which is always insubordination, some stupid that they do. Yeah. You know what I mean? But that's going across the board. But they do make sure who they want up there is the only ones that's coming up there.
Yeah.
And I've never understood why. Well, I do understand why, but I look at that and I said, yo, this is the perfect model. Yo, for us to have the same exact thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I said, a lot of times your enemies show you exactly what it is that you see in yourself, man. So it's crazy, son. But she's sick, son.
You know where the white privilege come from though? Like more so than anything. Like the reason why she was able to do that though is because for years society has demonized black men.
It's been a campaign.
Yeah, they've demonized black men. So I took some notes on this.
They demonized the black family, son, because you talk about and I mean campaign. All through Jim Crow, they were putting out that whites only. That's a campaign. You know what I'm saying? Coloreds over here. You're broadcasting it to say this is how we're living. So
Yeah.
you see
here's something to consider, right, with demonization. In this last week or so, right? So some of the stuff. You had the Florida woman who recently drowned her autistic son.
My God.
Who did she say did it?
I did see that.
A black man. She said a black man, right?
I did see
then
that.
you had a Georgia youth pastor lie and say he was carjacked by 2 black men because he wanted to go to a hotel and have sex with a male prostitute. Look at Donald Trump after all these years with the Central Park 5 and the DNA evidence. He's still unwilling to admit
he actually put out an ad out for the men to lose their freedom.
So why is it that people feel compelled or comfortable? And this is not a rhetorical question, more so as this is to me an indictment on society. People feel so compelled that when something happens to be like a black man did it without a second thought. That's because for years the black man has been portrayed as being violent, angry, aggressive, all these different things. So for a woman to pick up the phone and be like, I'm gonna call the police and say that you're here harassing me or whatever it is, and listen to what she said. It's a black man. It's a black man or African American. However she said it, she made it. African American man.
She mean black
man. So that to me just goes to show, like, it's really was a visual to me of how people do understand white privilege. And then sure enough, afterwards, her response to it is, well, I'm not prejudiced. You're not prejudiced. You just weaponize your whiteness,
right?
Or whatever. How could you not be prejudiced in doing something like that?
Man, shit is just so sad, bro. It's a sad time. I mean, it's Jim Crow. It's everything. It's all of what you've read and you continue to read. Present time and whatever time, man, it doesn't leave until we address it and deal with it. In my humble opinion, I think we just need to leave their ass alone.
Yeah, we
have enough of our own between doctors, lawyers. We should really focus on that, man. For real, man.
Yeah.
They don't love us. They never loved us. Not all of them, because I know some good guys. Even in Tulsa, Oklahoma, during Black Wall Street, there were a few Caucasians that died, or a few white people that died. And they were probably just a regular, like, I ain't fucking with them. These white people are crazy. I know that's my cousin in them, but you always have those. But it's sad, man.
You know what? So I'm gonna say this because I do think that there are white allies, but to me, if you're complicit and you do nothing and you somebody who wash your hands and just step aside, you just as bad as the person who's actually doing the stuff. Because you know damn well it's wrong, and you wouldn't want that
I
treatment.
hate to say it, but that's probably 95% of their culture, man.
Yeah, that's
Let's
horrible.
sit back and see they own do what they do and don't denounce it.
Yeah.
And know what goes on. Because a lot of their relatives are police officers or been in the service or you've been in that line of duty. Let me tell you something. Anything dealing with the police department, you're taking that right back to slave trade and the Ku Klux Klan. Period, son. You follow the police, the police history, being an officer, their history is nothing but
consistent with being an overseer.
That's
too,
it.
man.
It's an overseer, someone looking to hang and do what they do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So, and talking about, like I was saying, like, you know, the whole part around the demonization of black men, you think about it, like, why is it that whenever a person of color is killed in cold blood, what usually happens first, rather than people being like, yo, you know, justice is that, there's always going to be a public outcry from other people of color. But what comes out even in the media, well, you know, this person 3 years ago they was arrested for domestic violence,
right,
so they had two speeding tickets.
They bring up their past, but that's the reason why you choke.
Yeah. So I'm trying to figure out, like, how a person who, you know, well, 5 years ago he got these speeding tickets, or 5 years ago he was arrested. How does that exonerate the person from killing a person?
Here's my thought. White people, Caucasians, Anglo-Saxons, whatever you want to call them, they must have such a fear of seeing anybody black, but more importantly, black man, because he's the head, he is the image that sets the tone for all images. You know what I'm saying? That's how man is designed. So they can't see that. For some reason, it impairs their judgment to even want to give a black man any type of supremacy or some sort of stake on this planet, where they look at him like he's my peer. And that's the reason why I think we should leave him alone, because they're not going to give what it is that we're looking for ourselves. We got to take that for ourselves and build it amongst ourselves, and then hopefully prayerfully it will turn into something. You know what I'm saying? And that's where we need to stay. We need to just leave their ass alone. They don't fuck with us, so we don't have to fuck with them. Nah, they don't. I mean, for a woman to do that, in other words, she would rather do business with you. I'm sure she has clients that she's doing insurance or whatever she's doing, but she's doing her job. If that's your only communication, that should be with her.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? As a majority, we need our own. We need just give us the state of California.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Somewhere it's warm. We got to worry about snow all the time. We don't like. Black people need to be back in the tropical zone.
You know what else is ironic about that, though? That, like, when I saw the video, I was saying to myself, so it went viral. She was exposed. She ended up losing her job. At first, the job suspended her, but because of public outcry, she ended up losing her job,
losing the dog.
But
dummy.
Think about, like, if that was reversed, right? How many white people have been out filming people? Like, the whole thing around Karen's now about, like, white people that's extra credit and do, like, shit that they really got no business
Barbecue
doing.
Betty, she's out there. Where's Barbecue Betty, and what's the other chick that says you have a license for that? She was selling water. People are sad, man.
So if you flip that around and you think about it,
they don't like
what the outcome would be. Would have been? Would it still have made the news and been in the context of this man?
You ain't supposed to be walking in this aisle, and I got you on video. I'm about to put it on. Son, get on their nerves.
Yeah,
you should.
It was that. I think that was very much a very different experience.
Start giving them some of their own medicine, son.
Yeah, it's funny you say that.
Do that. People listen to me.
Star from Starbuck Wild had a draws in his show. He was like, "Yo, we should follow a white person around a day of following a white person around, videotaping all their actions and all the shit they do."
They're gonna start banning people. Why? The banning videos is gonna come soon. So.
But you know what? Video cameras, as much as video cameras now give us accessibility to all the events that actually occur, they still haven't really been beneficial to help us with justice. So that's a good segue to move to talk about what's on everybody's mind this week. You know, Mr. George Floyd, rest in peace. Just a very, very tragic story. You know, when I watched it, Eric Gardner popped in my head immediately. And I look at it and I said, damn, like, yo, it's it's such a range of emotions associated with it. You know, I see that they fired the 4 officers. As of today, they got 1 officer in custody and they're actually charging him with manslaughter. But, you know, what made me bug about it is that immediately they fired the 4 officers. The shit with Eric Gardner, you know, I think only 1 officer got fired.
Yeah, well,
after all this time, 1 officer got fired. So these 4 people are fired. This one gentleman is being brought up for manslaughter. As a result of it, there's all these protests going on. It's become a huge thing on social media, and there's so much awareness around it. And I think it's just kind of gotten to like a boiling point where people are like, yo, enough is enough of this shit.
You can't keep feeding people the same shit year after year after year. Although there is a campaign that they're demonizing the black man, but you're promoting it. You're putting it on TV. It's on the news. People watch the news. They're not watching their hillbilly cousins or whoever out there. They're not the ones on the news. It's us on the news. So common sense, just humanity is stepping up right now and saying like, come on,
enough is enough. Yeah,
black man can't be that bad. He does everything. Like, come on.
Yeah, enough.
When I know my cousins over here, we raise hell every day, and we don't get caught in no trouble. It's like, the fuck out of here. So, and you know, Minnesota, I got a buddy that live out there, and he works, you know, either for the precinct or real close to the precinct. He said, yo, Mass, they tearing it up, son. Yeah. They tearing it up, and people are tired of that. And it's with these cameras, you know, we hear about racism, but now the cameras are showing it. It's showing the deceitfulness. It's showing. It might even be people are smart when they out in the street. People that on the street all the time, we see stuff being at home. And now that we're opening it back into the public, they caught homeboy bashing windows who looked like an agent or a police, or who happens to be a police officer, who was bashing the windows to set the riots off. Yeah. So was it the people that set the riots off? That start the looting and all that? Or was it already staged to get that way? Because, you know, once you see one thing happen, the copycats start to follow. Yeah. So how you setting this off, man? Yeah. That shit is crazy, man.
The officer that they actually that they charged with manslaughter, like, he had a history of I think they said that he had like 18 different violations against him, and he was involved in killing a Latino dude before.
If that man don't fry, America will. Yeah. And I said that today. If that man don't go down.
But don't you feel like we've been down? Think about it. Like, we've been down this road so many times, and before the excuse was like, well, it's this person word versus this person word. But now we have the video of what's going on.
I hate to say it, but they've been lynching us for a millennium. Yeah. You know, and our involvement in that don't help anymore. Anyway, and all of this, if you ask me, man, is about, you know, genocidal cleansing. You know, you're targeting not just one man, but you're targeting a people, son. Between what's taking place there, what's been taking place since Trayvon up until today, we're like 3-year anniversary. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. We're in our 3rd year with that. Yeah. Dealing with the police officer and someone of our color dying at the other end of that for 3 years straight. Yeah. And then now we dealing with what we're dealing with now with the health issue. It's like, we always fighting a battle, and then we gotta look at Karen, who's another. She can damn plague her damn self. Oh, so and I summed that up with saying, that's what my saying. Oh, I'm tired of dealing with them, man. Leave their ass alone. We're intelligent people. We just need to start using it and start talking and opening up. And showing and prove, man. For real, man.
Let's see if we can get some folks on the line, because I know some people want to call in. See, but yeah, these good brothers we you know, like, even like just now when you was talking about like the Trayvon piece, like, I remember watching that verdict with my children and just being like, you know, speechless.
Right,
like,
right.
And
a buddy of mine asked me, he said, yo, what do I tell my sons? Because we're leaving this world to them. Yeah. You know, once we're gone, they have to maintain it. And I told them, Tell your sons the absolute truth, the God's honest truth. Do not hold nothing back, B. So if it may still continue going on, that if they see it in their lifetime, they know what to do and what to stay away from or how to protect themselves.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of us got caught not knowing how to deal with shit. And it's like, damn, my mom didn't tell me about this.
Yeah.
And not blaming my mom, but maybe she never knew how to explain it to me, or probably never thought I would. Who would think we'd be dealing with this in 2020?
Yeah. I had a dude I used to know that I haven't spoken to him in a while, but he was in his 60s, and I remember before having a conversation with him, and he was like, he never experienced racism. I was like, damn, you too far gone, brother.
Been, son?
Yeah, so I'm like, yo, you know what? I said, you haven't experienced it because you so embedded in it. For you, it's just, yo, this shit is just a way of life. This is just how it is.
Right. You just get white people their way, and you go about your business. Like, that's just white people.
I'm like, yo, how could you say that you've never experienced racism?
I see it in leadership. I see it in management. I see it in corporate America. I see it in retail. I just see it in every piece of business that there is. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? And we have, like I said, I know my people are magnificent. You know what I mean? We just need to know how to tap into those little things that we have. We're all, you know, we are mirrored of people. You know, I like to look at my people as a mirrored, as just how open the zodiac is, just as a term. There's only 12 zodiacs, right? So it means there's only 12 people. That's it. That's my people right there. You know what I'm saying? And we're special. We got talent. People are communicators. I know some fashion. You yourself, being teachers, be ricing them with DJs, but professors. Come on, son. These guys, we got a lot to offer, man. Yeah. We just put it down to paper, work with people, get some ideas out there. Never stop telling yourself that you can't do it. You can always do something. Never use terms like I can't and them type of things, man.
Yeah. I'm hoping that the end result for this though is that they definitely get justice for this gentleman. And then you know what happens sometimes too? You hear people talk about like the civil suit that comes with it. People be like, oh well, you know, the family's gonna sue and the family's gonna get millions of dollars. You can't put a price tag on somebody's life.
Price tag on that, man. 2020 has already stained all of us based on, you know, the health stuff, and you know, it's already stained all of us, man. I don't know how you know, we'll remember this like 9/11.
Yeah, of course. You know, I was also listening to talk radio today too, and they were saying that
NPR.
No, it's something else on Sirius XM. Okay. But they were saying that George Floyd, at the restaurant that he worked at, I guess he was maybe like a bouncer or something like that, and that the police officer also,
they both worked at the same spot.
Restaurant for like 15 years. So now people are also speculating, like, could it have been something else?
It wasn't premeditated.
Yeah, like, yo,
he recognized them, and now in his police attire,
and used that opportunity to assert himself. Yeah, so. Like, so I'm like, damn, like, yo, that to me is like, that takes it to even further level.
What is it? Like, what is it about us that they hate? Speak on it. Oh, it's my man Nash.
We got a call coming in.
We got a call coming in. Nash.
Yo, what's good, Rob?
What's up, brother?
Hold on, let's get you on the...
Powering on. Welcome to Alltech Lansing.
Get you on the speaker.
You there, champ? I hear your car. You just went in your car, nigga. I heard you.
Yeah, man.
What's up, brother? How you feeling, man?
Talk that talk.
Mad, man. These niggas gonna sink me into the fucking trenches. I ain't never been to this building. I'm down the block from where they was riding at right now. They got me on different type of time. I'm not even in a good mood, dude.
Yeah, I can imagine, man. This is my man Nash. Nash, you live right now, brother. So, I know you're safe, but I hear your mood, brother. It's kind of solemn out there, man.
Yeah, it's different out here, man. Right now it is.
Wow.
Where's the break rooms at, man? We gotta do the bathroom.
Wow, you still working, huh, brother?
Yeah, they just switched up my whole mood just now. I don't even know what the hell to do.
So what? So are you at a precinct right now, Nash?
Yeah, I am.
And they got you moving kind of delicately, huh?
Delicate? Nah, they kind of just sent me to the wolves. That's what they just did today.
Yeah.
Custodian.
So what's it like for for people out there? Like everywhere you go, it's like people in an uproar, or there's some people who.
Yeah, you know what? It's kind of like a mixed version of everything. Like, I mean, everybody's not in duress right now, but they they just kind of take it in and just trying to make the best of the situation.
Right.
You know, you got the people who's looting and everything, just taking advantage of the situation.
Right.
And then you got, people that's just out here just trying to work and move around.
Right. All in the mix at the same time.
It's a bunch of everything going on.
Is there like a voice out there? Because I know they said Al Sharpton went out there, but is there somebody out there that's like a representative of the community that kind of got like boots on the ground?
Nah, it ain't none of that really out here. Just a couple of church dudes and whatever,
Right.
They just working that like that, but it ain't nobody like official tissue just holding it down all the way like no Al Sharpton or none of that. Like he was here yesterday, but I really don't know what capacity he was here,
Right.
I'm not too sure about the capacity he was in, But yeah, I know that.
What's the racial divide out there? Like I know clearly there's a lot of brothers out there because
it's actually not, man. The population of Minneapolis is like 4% black.
Wow.
So that's like Danbury.
Yeah, I thought it was more. Yeah,
that's like Danbury.
I thought it was more. So
wow.
So
I
with
didn't
it
even know
being
that,
4% black, are they like? Do you see like white allies out there, like people that's like?
Yeah, I mean that's all it is. I mean, you looking at the pictures. You know what I'm saying? The pictures kind of speak for themselves. You know what I'm saying? It ain't that many black people on the line like that as the way they say it. I mean, there's a lot of us out here, but it's definitely, if
not
you look
doing
in the
that
crowd,
damage.
you're going to see more people, more white people than you will see black, for sure.
Right. For sure. Wow, son.
We outnumbered by so many.
Damn.
That's crazy, man. I'm glad you all right, Nash, man. I know it's tough working through all that.
Yeah, but
you got to walk through all that, son.
Like there's no black neighborhoods in Minneapolis, and I was trying to reiterate that when I was on the net earlier. Like there are no black neighborhoods like Harlem, and it's none of that here. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's just people coexisting together. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, what was the reputation of the police department prior to this? Like, was the police department always being viewed as like being shady or?
Yeah, of course. Like every year, something is happening different. You know what I'm saying? Like every year, something happens different with some different group or minority group or something. But yeah, it's cool, man. It ain't that bad.
Right. Right, that would be the last place I would think something crazy like this would go on in Minnesota. But so was Columbine and everything else, son. Yeah. Fucking crazy ass place we live in, man.
I don't know why. I always thought that Minnesota had like a more of a representation of black people, just because I know like they had the huge funk scene with like Jimmy Jam, Terry Lewis, Prince, Morris Day, and
that's very small and in between, brother.
Damn,
that's like it ain't even. It reflects in all fields too, like even the music scene, all the scenes. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's pretty, it's pretty whitewashed all the way around the table. You know what I'm saying?
Right. That's crazy.
Yeah. Yo, so this may be like a loaded question or statement, but I'm just wondering because you got boots on the ground, you out there, we experience it from afar and we frustrated, but you there and you see it. Like, yo, how do they repair this shit?
Yo, you know what? It's more of a, to be honest with you, it's more of a, like, the repair process is going to be the hard part because, you got so many different groups with so many different interests, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So it's like, like the stores that they're tearing down and all of that, like they're in the hood right now.
That Target was in the hood?
Huh?
That Target was in the hood?
Nah, yeah, it was, but it was like in the Spanish side of town, like you know, like they got sides of towns, like like where I'm at now, it's like a predominantly Spanish neighborhood where they got a lot of stuff. But hold on, let me get my coworker together, man, because we gotta go. Steve, just do the trash, my guy, and I'm gonna do the bathrooms, and then we can just split it. Just do the trash.
Listen, man. I appreciate your time, man. We gotta keep it moving, bro. I'm glad that you're all right.
Yeah.
I'm glad I was able to catch you, man. You can, talk your talk, because that was the segment that you just entered, man. It's called Talk Your Talk, man. So I know there's a lot of people going through what they're going through, and they might just need to vent right now. Yeah. So, just spit it how you live it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we out here though, man. It's it's a lot of, I missed a lot of it because I worked during the time that they was out there protesting and everything.
You missed it? What, you was about to go get a TV, nigga?
Nah, I'm just saying.
I'm playing, bro.
I would have if I was in the right place. They just hit a jewelry store today.
They hit a jewelry store?
They hit everything.
Yeah, man.
They loot.
They not
when they loot,
the Minneapolis like they going to the different neighboring cities and.
When looting commence, they know the stores. They've been looking at that window all their life. Like,
Yeah, that's how it was. That's how it felt. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
To be honest,
see, that's despair, man, and that's what happens when you set despair in neighborhoods, man. You flaunt certain things in front of people and make people want to have things. I'm telling you, it's about the image, man, and that's what got us all fucked up. We got the wrong image. These people got the wrong image of black people. Their image is so fucked up. That's all they see, son. And you can make up a story, send it to the fucking police. You know what I'm saying? And point me out.
Yeah.
And I'm minding my business, smoking a cigarette at the bus stop, and these niggas roll up like I done robbed the whole bank. The fuck, man?
Right. Yeah. That's how it is out here, though.
That's how it is everywhere.
Like
that's how it is everywhere, son. We've been dying from, like I said, from Trayvon to George Floyd, son.
Yeah. And even before
we almost at the anniversary. We at the anniversary of Black Wall Street. These niggas, what is it, son? The fuck?
Right.
That's it.
Yeah,
that's my
definitely
spiel.
bad out here, though. I ain't gonna lie.
Well, I'm glad you good, Nas. I love you, brother.
Yeah, I love you too, man.
Thanks for calling in, man.
Already. I appreciate talking to y'all.
All right, my G.
All right,
later. Yeah, man. This is crazy, son.
No, I thought Minnesota was had a little bit more diversity in terms of
I didn't think that either, man.
But he said 4%.
Here it is.
4%, man. Wow, like so,
it ain't a lot of
yeah.
So I see why it could be as magnified as it is, because everyone probably knew Homeboy, and if he was the bouncer at the local club, come on, son, they done seen him every Friday.
Yeah.
Now, you don't mess up the business for that because they probably won't go there. I'm not gonna see George no more.
Yeah. Well, it's something to consider. Like everybody's not a mathematician, but 4% is you think about it. Like if there's 100 people in your city, only 4 of those people are black. Right. So that's a huge underrepresentation.
You gonna miss me every time I come outside, son.
Yeah,
you're gonna miss me every time.
That's scary. Like I said, I just always envisioned that Minnesota had a larger African American population because they, the funk influence and everything, and so many great musicians, and then you think about like the sports players and everything.
Yeah,
but they may comprise a huge part of the 4%. That's a significant piece of the 4%.
Yeah.
Who we got next calling in?
We got my man P.I.
Yeah. It's these are just these are sensitive times for people, and I have to say that I think everybody we going through something.
Right, we going through something. Oh no, Ideas Original was good. Peace, brother. What's going on, man? It's my brother P.I. on the line. Yo, P.I., you live. What's good, brother?
What's up, man?
Ain't much good, brother. Ain't much. Just calling in to see how you was doing to chime in on my little say-so on this whole epidemic we going through.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
we was just talking. We just got off the phone with Nas, man. My brother Shannon is in here too, man.
What's up, man? How you doing?
That's peace, God. How are you?
I'm good, man. Go ahead, talk your talk. Let us know what's on your mind.
What's on your mind, so how you feel, bro?
I just want to say now, I feel like being a black man, that this is really taking a toll on not just myself, but on my kids that are coming up. As a black man, what am I to tell my kids? Do they partake? Do they sit back and watch? I don't know, and I don't want to not tell them something that's not going to be beneficial to them. But, I want to stand up and be a good dad, though. I don't want to leave them in the dark.
But I tell you this, P. I told my man he had the same question that you just posed, brother, and I told him, you know what? Tell your children the absolute truth. Don't leave nothing out. Don't leave nothing out, man. They ask why did this happen? Listen, man. There are people in this world who just don't favor black men, and that's been and we can go through history. We can point it out in so many different scenarios, and the proof is in the pudding. So tell your children the truth, man. I'm not lying to nobody about what I see, son, or what I've even experienced.
The question though is, what do I tell them? I'm saying I can tell them the truth. I'm going to tell them the truth because I don't want them to be misled.
There you go, and there you have it. What you need after that?
Okay, I'm looking at some things where they were saying the people that was recording that wasn't good enough. They should have They should have participated. Did something to help that gentleman that was on the floor. But what could they have done? I don't understand. I understand rushing the police and all that. But
that's it.
That's the okay thing to do.
That's it. I
I
seen two scenarios. I think maybe in DC and something else. Bro was hooked up, and I told you. I said it's not gonna be before long where you keep promoting this damnation. You hurting black men. Someone's gonna hook off on the police. Yeah. Someone's gonna retaliate just out of just sheer humanity. You're not doing that to me. If I know, and I'm being honest, I said. I'm not doing nothing, officer.
Yeah. Is it true though that it was like somebody said it was like a 15-year-old girl or something that recorded it?
I don't know. Yeah. She was. You could tell she was young. You hear her voice.
She came on the internet also.
She was crazy. She was crazy young, but this is crazy.
It's just
bro.
sad, man. It's sad because as we come up, you trying to be a good stand-up black man in America, and every time you look around, you're being put back down. There's nothing positive is being displayed at all, and none of the things you're doing. Okay, I understand the marching and all that, but how much is what's enough? And we just had another Rodney King. This is Rodney King in L.A. all over again, but this time it was in Minnesota.
Yeah.
This is crazy. And okay, they keep destroying their own properties and their own things.
That's the part that's why. That's the part that's why.
At the time, you can tell that it's just rage that they're living off of. So nobody's really thinking. Nobody has no good sense of direction right now because everybody's living on anger.
Yeah.
Well, the brother that called before you, he was saying, I asked him, I was like, is there somebody out there that got boots on the ground, like leadership? Because, in times like this, emotions do take over and people act off emotions. And that's what we're seeing from the emotional fallout from it. But if they had some kind of leadership out there that would actually get out there and help people organize, then maybe it wouldn't go to the extent that it's going. But also there's baiting and some of it is
they got the National Guard out there now. So that's
but the National Guard is out there to combat and prevent revolution. But I'm talking about like organization and leadership by way of somebody saying, all right, like these are the next steps that we taking to make sure that our protests actually we get our message heard and that we're working towards getting justice. Now the scary thing about it is like everything that's going on right now, from the cops being fired to now the dude being arrested, this may all be a formality because we've seen this before where all this shit is done.
Yes, sir.
And then when it's all said and done, the person walk out scot-free, they'd be like, we don't have enough evidence. What more evidence do you need if you got a man on tape? You actually have the murder committed on tape. What more evidence do you need?
With his hand in his pocket, motherfucker. Get on my fucking nerves.
Just the mere fact of the impression of we done seen present videotapes, present all kind of evidence, and we've seen these people still walk.
Yeah.
So what's to make us do it again? What's to say, okay, let me pull out my phone and record this?
Yeah.
But why?
Well, that's why when everything popped off, where they like, oh, we got the body cameras and everything, I didn't get excited. I'm like, so what's going to change? Now you're going to have this shit on film or whatever. Yeah, it's going to be on film for everybody to see, but it's still going to be some excuse associated with it.
Right.
Shit's crazy, bro. How you feel otherwise, brother? You all right?
It's crazy in the sense that trying to raise a young black man in this world today is starting to get harder and harder.
And that's what's scary.
Just you know, the influences that they already have with all of the stuff that's going on with the young people. And how are you, as a black man, going to tell your black son, oh, you got to do this. When police approach you, just put your hands up. Don't resist. Don't do that. Even if he's doing nothing wrong, I'm telling him to put his manhood in his pocket and humble himself to somebody that's another human being just walking this earth like you are.
Yeah, that's true.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I don't understand. This world is getting it's too sick. It's too sick. And it's not even like where you can go and run nowhere because there's nowhere to run. They're doing it in every state.
Yeah.
That's it, bro. Fight back, son. We gonna fight. I'm fighting back, so I'm throwing my hand.
Yeah, I'm hoping though. I'm hoping that out of this, you know, like, and we have these. It's sad because we have these tragedies that seem like now yearly, and then there's a lot of protesting, a lot of public outcry on social media, a lot of outcry in the media, but then, you know, nothing happens. Then the next year we back to square one. Whether like somebody, there needs to be some example set. They have to actually start valuing and put value on a black man's life. If not, then all this shit is just going to continue to keep happening over and over us again.
In the same token, we should put more value in our own lives. I'm telling you.
So basically what you're saying is it's going to happen again.
It feels like it, right? Doesn't it feel like every year we have some? I mean, we still fresh off of Ahmaud Arbery. Like, you know, that was a couple of weeks ago. And we still see them from that. Like, yo, we haven't healed from that. The amount of trauma that as black people that we experience and we're subjected to is just back to back. It's one after the other.
That's why we're addicted to it. And that's why I put that post, you know, on Facebook. But I put that post. Can people stop reposting fights and fucking police brutality? Yeah. You're perpetuating a programming of fear. That's all you're getting from that. All that is trauma. And you're watching someone put themselves, like I said, when you watch an image, you're putting yourself there to say, what if that was me? That's trauma. Yeah. You don't do that. You know what I'm saying? Stop doing that. I know fights look funny. Good to see a nigga get knocked out. I know that's funny. No. Stop doing that. You know what I mean? That's not cool, man. Because people get repetitive and we're addicted to trauma. So we'll run to that before we'll watch someone win the Boston Marathon because they, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. We'll run, you know what I mean? We'll run to go check out that. We have to stop that, man.
You know, one thing that, there's several things, but one of the things that sometimes disappoints me when these conversations come up also is you'll have conservatives that'll come out of nowhere and just be like, well, you know, black on black crime has nothing to do with has nothing to do with the issue at hand, right? So, you know, we was just talking to the brother in Minnesota, right? And he said that 4% of the population in Minnesota is black, right? So imagine how many white people.
Over 85% is Caucasian. Yeah. So you know who's doing the looting, right?
So, but yo, check this out. So with that being said, with over 80 some people out there being white. When whites commit crimes against whites, because it's just by chance, you know, like that's what the population is. Do you hear people talking about, well, white on white crime?
It's not even a term.
Yeah, how often have you heard somebody say, well, white on white crime? Well, white on white crime is rampant.
It's not even a term. That's called corporate crimes. White collar crimes is white on white crime.
White on white crime, right? Because if you lived in a town predominantly where it was 98% white people and they were all killing themselves and everything or whatever, would that not be white on white crime?
Nope. That's it, exactly. It would.
Yeah.
It would.
You know, so that's just, that to me is just, again, that's like lingo that's used to try to divert from what the actual issue is. Right. Like, we're not talking about crimes that people, like, in the inner city predominantly is blacks and Latinos. Right. So the opportunity is there. These are the people that you interact with and that you have dealings with. The opportunity is there, and that's why it's gonna happen, right? But we conveniently ignore the assaults from police or other people because we focus on and say like, well, you know, there's black on black crime or minorities killing each other, you know, and to me that's a mistake. Now, one thing that I do think that we have to do as people of color though is that the same level of outrage that we have for when an outsider kills a person of color, we should probably have the same level of outrage and place value
on two knuckleheads.
Like that's something that we definitely have to look at. And not saying that people aren't doing it now, because you do see people that are far more conscious and they speak on it. But I'm not for people
there's
using
some towns
that to
in
divert.
Houston. They got block watch. They got they got troops out there, and it's brothers with guns armed. Ain't no drug selling, ain't nothing going crazy in these neighborhoods, man. They taking back their neighborhoods and they holding it down. Police presence ain't in there because it don't need to be in there because people are policing themselves.
Yeah.
So unless there's a fire where the police are coming in maybe to assist fire department, there's no reason to be in the community. And that's the reason. That's how you take over your community, in which we have to be present.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And the bullshit that's going on in your community, it ain't happening. I tell you this, man. I could live on a block where, you know, our block was our block, but any shenanigans that didn't need to be there was not going on, son.
Yo.
It was gone. You was out of there. Like, nah, you can't do that here, homeboy. No, pack up. Bye-bye. Can't do that.
Well,
so,
even if you came to the block and we ain't recognize you, yo, who this?
Who
that down the block?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Always
Nah,
police
son.
the block.
Size you up real quick. You ain't a regular, son. Get out of here, son. So,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
And that's
always
community
police the block.
awareness. That's community awareness. And you need more of that. You need a lot of that. You know what I'm saying?
So what do you, I guess from your perspective, like, where do you see this going? What do you need to see happen to feel justice, to feel like justice has been served?
Well, we never going to feel justice, I don't think. That's my
Stop
my
saying
personal
that,
opinion.
man. You
That it's never going to be proper justice. I think they're going to always do just to satisfy the masses and make us happy. They'll do just enough. So I think, well, the real question should be, what will it take to satisfy us? Nothing. Because, you know, as black people, we're never satisfied. That's number one. And two, it's like if you give us the 40 acres and a mule, we're still going to say we want more. Because that's just black people.
Shit. Give me 3 acres.
I don't even believe that imprisoning or killing this gentleman is going to satisfy people either. We're doing it because it's the right now. It's what's going on right now. That's why we're doing this.
So you don't see a solution.
At the end of the day, we all know when this is over and when this died down, and there's gonna be no more. And that cop is not gonna go to jail, and nothing's gonna happen to him.
Okay. All right, bro. I appreciate your time, man. Appreciate you calling in, talking your talk, because that's the segment.
Yo, y'all keep your heads up, man. Keep doing what y'all doing. I appreciate y'all. I like what y'all doing. I really, y'all voice of the people. Y'all getting things out there, and I appreciate you.
Thank you, man.
All right, bro. Thank you, man.
All right, family. Y'all be safe, yeah?
Yes, sir,
too,
son.
man.
I'll holler at you.
All right, no doubt.
All right, peace.
Yeah, man. So these are like really rough times for a lot of people, and like, yo, just listen to him say like, yo, I'm stuck. Like, what do I tell my kids? You want to tell your kids that it's going to be all right. You want to tell your kids that they're not going to be subjected to this. You want to tell your kids that this gentleman was wrong and it was on film, and that as a result of it being on film or the gentleman being wrong, that, you know, there is going to be justice. But we didn't just been down the road so many times where people
you get numb to it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I remember, and I used to hate saying this. When I go to funerals, I stop crying. You know what I'm saying? Because I was getting numb to, damn, another person passed, and another person passed, and another person passed.
Yeah, that's part of the trauma, though.
And they were going so consecutive. It was like, all right, I was just here, so I'm still mourning from the other one. So
that's part of the trauma, though.
It gets difficult. I had one more call, my man. Yeah, Sire. Let me see if he wants to call.
It's just we have to though. We have to figure out, you know, and I'm hoping that in Minnesota that they find somebody who is gonna step to the forefront and be the representation, to have leadership and boots on the ground. Like, you know, no disrespect to Al Sharpton, but you kind of need somebody who's like a pillar in that community that's already in that backyard to step up, to have a voice. There got to be somebody, like somebody got to step up and say, like, you know what, I want to speak for the people. I want to be a representative. And when we start talking about leadership, like it could be a leadership. It could be somebody faith-based on that level, you know, coming out the church that they got a voice.
Right, it has to be somebody.
Influence.
Yeah. Just come out and speak.
Nationwide.
You just need somebody to come out and speak. That's dope.
Well, because what I don't want to see though is like all of the traditional people that have been anointed, and I say anointed because that's what it is, that they've been anointed as being the voice of black people.
Right.
Self-proclaimed anointed. They've anointed themselves. Right. They show up and then they start becoming, you know, the face of whatever the movement is gonna be.
Right.
For their own gain.
Right.
A lot of times, like I'd rather see somebody who has an investment in the community, that, you know, they with the church out there, or they've been working with youth.
They know the pillars. They know the people that have been there for 20, 30 years and what they've contributed over the years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's how you get people together. That's the reason why I sent you that email, even when they was talking about the gentrification.
No.
But you see the meeting of the minds and how they was designing the idea for Yankee Stadium and all that. And all I kept thinking to myself was, yo, how do we get in there retail wise? All we need is 1,500 square feet of a store to put Nell's Kitchen or whatever, anything. You know what I'm saying? And they building up that area there in Castle Hill. I was like, what am I listening to? Hold on, son. It's the Bronx.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and I took all their names down too, bro. Every last name.
Yeah, nice.
You know what I mean? You need to know them guys. I didn't even, to hear that, I thought I was like, oh, I caught something that maybe no one is hearing. This is how they moving money around in the Bronx, but you got to know how they moving, man. And and them units that's up and down, the concourse and all that, those units being sold every day.
Yeah. It makes me think about my man
buildings being sold.
My man Dave Clark. He's a detective out of Mount Vernon. You can put him on. He's a detective out of Mount Vernon.
Yo.
What's up, man?
One of the things he was saying was that he grew up, born and raised in Mount Vernon, and became a detective in Mount Vernon.
Right.
So he has an investment in seeing his community. But I remember before he was telling me, he was like, yo, they hire so many police officers that's from like upper Westchester, Long Island, or whatever it is.
Westchester.
They don't give a shit about Mount Vernon.
Josiah, what's up, good bro?
What's up, man?
Hey, what's good? What's going on?
Welcome to No Idea, man. What's good, man? Listen, man, we here chopping it up. You know, talk segment is what we're talking about, man. Yo, give us your opinion about what's going on in Minnesota, bro. Or, you know, introduce yourself, man.
All right. Well, my name is Josiah. I'm from Boston Road. And the honest truth of what I see of the circumstances is that sometimes to solve a problem, you have to think real hard. And if you are really trying to create a problem, to make a problem, to solve a problem, it's something hard to think about. You can justify your actions all day long, but I really feel that the solution to everything is a level of separation. And you may not be able to move to another place, but you don't have to cooperate with how the system runs. Like you don't have to value it.
Right, you don't have to assimilate
how you control the situation.
Right.
But if you try to get a policeman who's in your oppressor to give you respect, I think that's insanity. I think when they provoke us and that shit is televised, I think they staged it. And I think we're crazy to fall for the fucking nigga trap. And it's something to think about, but we do a lot of damage to ourselves at the same time. And I think that when you concentrate on your self-respect,
right, bro,
then you can solve other problems. You start with yourself. Talk about it. You concentrate on how you know, because when you got a real enemy that doesn't deceive you, you fucking get around him. You can move around him carefully, and both sides is watching you. But what's going on is people are lying to us. So that's why we think we're supposed to get respect from them, because they're not even saying they are enemies.
Right,
and that's the culture.
That's the culture. That's
what's the most offensive part about it.
That's right.
You feel lied to and let down, so you want some retribution, and I don't need no oppressor to fucking validate me, man. Yeah. And I just hope that other people get that, man, because if you try to solve the problem through conflict,
I think what you're going to get out of it is conflict instead of
get more
peace.
conflict. That's
And
right.
a couple casualties. I dig it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, there's always collateral damage, man. It has to be collateral damage to get the point across. You know what I mean? Because drama, violence sells. You know, and that's what moves the needle. You know what I'm saying? That's why, like I said, when we had Noah and P.I. on the phone prior to you, and I was telling her, I said, man, these devils, and I call them devils, man. They it's sad, bro. I sometimes I'm speechless, man. I can't even find the words to speak on this, man. It's that heinous. But what you got going on with you, brother? I know you mentioned something a while ago about. Did you have a song or something in dedication to this or something to that effect? Something you was telling me. I'm not too clear on it. Please elaborate.
Well, with the music, well, right now I'm really at a standstill with the music because you have to really, I think right now what the world needs now is something that's going to heal. And
right, that's right.
I feel if I say something, I got to be careful of my message. Even like talking right now, I don't want to give nobody the impression that I am happy with what the hell is going on, but I just don't know what the solution is. And I just know that me being angry and doing something on my feelings is not going to be the solution. And it's going to feel good for a second, but I don't know the solution.
Yeah,
that's right.
That's how I'm going to feel about my music. That message that I want to say, I really want to be calculated and say something. If I'm waiting to say a message, I really want to put some thought to it. So right now, I'm just saying to people what's going on with their lives. And
that's right.
That's the song right there, man.
That's it. That's it, man. That's what's up, man. Yeah, man. It's been a tough time, man. And like I said, it's like a broken record. It's always the black man is under attack. You know, we champion every situation just like this anyway. You know what I mean? But going through it consistently, it's like another chink in the armor. It wears you down. It's like, oh, here we go again, man. What the fuck? And I agree with you, man. Mm-hmm. Separation is key. Leave these people alone. We got too much going for ourselves. We don't need their acceptance. We don't need much from them. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, and if we decide to do business with them, that's still a decision, but we don't have to. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? It's
self-control.
It's always about knowledge of self. It's always about knowing who you are.
Discipline.
You know, and being disciplined in that, man. And then, you know, once you have that crafted, you share it with somebody. You share it with others. You share it with the youth. You share it with your peers. Brothers, sisters, it don't matter, man. And then they share with what they got. And you come, you know, collective and inclusive with some things. And trust me, man, we can make this world a better, greater place. Us alone, we don't need them.
Yeah. Anything else you want to say in closing?
Sire.
Yes, sir.
Anything you want to say in closing, brother? You can wrap it up, man.
In closing, I got a song I want to sing in closing.
Go ahead, go
that's
for
okay.
it. Yeah, go ahead.
Shoot your shot, brother.
It's a spiritual song, but it's a message, and the message in the song it says, although the circumstances that surround us may cause certain dismay, and oftentimes we wonder why, or if it was to be this way, when there is hunger all over the land. Listen, we are fighting our fellow man. Look, we're tearing each other down, only to lose what might have been found. So you ask yourself one question: is there any hope for the world in this condition? We're at the end of our rope, when it seems that all of our effort to restore this world of love have fallen short of measure. And only my God above can change the world, can change the world, yeah. There's still hope for the world. Our answer child. No need to give up your all. For as sure as there is love, and as sure as there is a God, as sure as there is love, there is hope.
Nice.
Thank you, buddy.
All right, brother. Yeah, you nailed that one. Appreciate you, brother.
Okay, man. Appreciate you.
Be safe, man.
Listen, man, I'm gonna holler at you, man. Yo, safe travels. I know you're going down. You see your kids, man, and enjoy that time with them. All right.
No doubt, bro.
All right, man. Peace.
All right.
That's my man, Josiah, man. Good dude, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This concludes our bonus episode. Anything you want to say in closing?
Oh man, yeah. You know, I'm a firm believer in taking care of yourself internally, less externally. You know, the world is a bitter place, man, but you don't have to be in it or of it, man. Stay in yourself. Focus on your dreams, man. Focus on what makes you happy. Because it's times like this, you're gonna need distractions. You're gonna need alternatives, man. It's easy to get caught up in bad energy, man.
Yeah.
And you go out there and do something, because that's just not what you need to do, man.
Nah, that to me was like the common theme, like from all the callers. Like everybody spoke from a place of emotions and being
emotion,
like,
a little confusion. Like, what do we do? There's no solution.
Yeah. So for me, I just say, like, you know what, like we all need to be able to acknowledge and understand our emotions, but sometimes we need to sit back and think before we act on our emotions, right? So
make it make sense.
Yeah.
Before you go out there.
Yeah. So right now I'm kind of like in a mode, you know, for my children, where it's like, yo, you know, I just need you to just let's just be safe. And we need time. I think all the kind of process was going on. So you know,
that's something you deal with overnight. Not at all.
Definitely. So, again, you know what? Thanks to everybody for tuning in.
Thank you so much,
to this
guys.
episode. You know, we really appreciate the
Appreciate
listeners.
all my listeners,
and
all
now
the
viewers. You know, we could be found on SoundCloud, Spotify, iHeart, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, and YouTube. Follow us if you don't already follow us on No ID or Ridge on Instagram, and we look forward to seeing you guys next week. Peace.